Welcome back to Dreams of the Nameless, where the president waves around secret documents in full view of digital cameras in this dystopian moment.
You may have heard President Trump recently threatened Mexico with tariffs unless they meet our demands. And then a while later, the U.S. and Mexico supposedly reached this agreement. Trump had been touting this secret deal for a couple of days. There was questions about whether or not it actually existed. Or I suspected maybe he was just backing off from his tariff threats and trying to save face by lying about coming to a secret deal. Tuesday, though, this last week, Trump decided it would be prudent to wave around a document which he claimed was the secret agreement in full view of professional photographers with expensive cameras. To the surprise of no one, a Washington Post photographer was able to actually capture an image of it where the light was coming through it so you could see some of the text. And of course, they blow it up and they're analyzing the text. And basically, from what we can see, it is an agreement where, at the discretion of the U.S., in the next 45 days, if they're not able to stem the flow of migrants, essentially, the U.S. may force them to implement what they're calling a safe third country agreement, which just means Mexico has to act as the country of asylum for anyone entering into Mexico with the intent of escaping wherever they're from. So basically, I think we should start with, how do you feel about him waving this document around? Did he do it on purpose? Is it just that oblivious? Like, are you surprised the cameras caught images that we can read?
I don't know. I think this whole thing is just funny. The audacity of waving the document around and calling it secret is... I mean, is the term oxymoron appropriate?
Maybe.
Or is there a term for when you say something and by virtue of uttering the words, you negate the thing that you're saying?
Yeah.
So it would be like saying, I haven't eaten chocolate today, as you put it into your mouth, right? So the idea that it's not secret once you're waving it around, even if we hadn't had intrepid newscasters or news camera people capture images of it, it still wouldn't be a secret. It would just be a deal like every other deal where they don't really tell us any of the fucking details. So,
yeah. And personally, I think it was an act. I usually fall on the line that, like, Trump is just an incompetent buffoon, but it's hard to tell sometimes because, like, he is an actor.
Well, and so what the real strategy is. We just do as much humanitarian atrocities as we can at the border until eventually we can just, like, guilt Mexico into being moral and helping those people. That's basically what's happening. We're just going to make it as rough as we can on Mexico and do as many horrible, atrocious things to these poor people that are trying to escape from war and famine and whatever else. And eventually, that's what we want, is just to offload this problem onto Mexico, who we know is way less equipped to deal with it than we are.
Yeah. And I think that's probably what's going on. And I think in support of this idea that he is putting forth a facade or being an actor, in some cases, I think he may also just be stupid sometimes. But at least in some cases, like this one, I think he was acting. I think it was purely for show. And I think he knew what he was doing, and he knew there were cameras there, and he knew someone was going to capture photos of it.
Well, yeah, this is his whole thing. He's going, these are my notes. Look what I did.
I looked at the picture. It's great. So it's folded up like a letter, as I've done with this piece of paper.
Yeah, it's good.
And when I hold that, if I'm going to pull it out of my pocket, like out of my jacket, I'm going to hold it kind of with, my whole hand or whatever, like it's a physical object. When he's holding it in the image, you can see he's literally like, doing this weird, like, I'm just barely touching it. And he's holding it, like, right in the middle, just so he's not covering up a bunch of text. And so I suspect, like, it was totally done intentionally to, here, please photograph my secret document.
So I don't know if I would follow you that far down that road, but what I will say is he's absolutely still playing a character. And this was a moment where he wanted to play the part of, look what I got. Look what I got in my pocket. I got something in my front pocket for you.
Yeah.
And
well, because think about it. He also said oh yeah, Mexico will announce the details of this deal later. I'll leave that up to them. And oops, I just released the details. So he gets to have all the power. He gets to maintain that, but it looks like an accident. So it doesn't offend Mexico.
Excellent. Yeah, I like that analysis.
Yeah.
Hit that like button. Subscribe, do all that other fun stuff. You don't have anything else good to say. We said all the stuff. We did all the things. Hit the fucking like button.